It's me, Asman Munir. I'm going to present our group assignment for subject audit and insurance compliance. To do so, we are 5 members of Osha, Pavita, Karina, Archana, and myself, Asman. Okay, so to talk about our topic is corporate governance principles. For the introduction, actually, with the fast-changing environment and technologies, so there are a lot of corporates are going global to ensure the better practices are all around the world. So we have created a corporate governance principles. To do so, it's actually basically ensures the safety and the better practices for any corporate, which also helps our company to perform well in the performance and to minimize really the potential threat of the frauds and misrepresentation. So to do so, we have like eight principles. The first one is actually lay down a very genuine and solid foundation of group management, management actually. Sorry. So likely effect of adoption of this principle is concerned with the respective role and responsibilities of the directors, and it's also affect the list of members, and it particularly the roles are distributed within those members and board of directors. So the second thing is likely influence of all adaptation on this principle. So the risk management process. The risk process management, in this case, evaluation of members' performance through their annually performance evaluation, or either it could be a periodic evaluation as well. So about the next thing is audit strategy. For the audit strategy, it depends actually on the checklist. If a company would evaluate that, okay, if they have done those evaluations, there must be a checklist which would be provided with they have done it to go through them actually. So the last thing is audit evidence. For the audit evidence, the essential document for that to check all of those evidences which are related to that checklist, as I just said, on audit strategy. So an auditor would go through all of those checklists if they have been conducted with the right person and with the right authorization. Thank you so much. And my next member would continue that part. Thank you.
Hello, I'm the second group member. My name is Kate Nasrasta, and I'm going to present about the second and the third principle. Second principle states that the structure the board to be effective and add value. In order to gain the investor confidence, the process of appointment should be formal, transparent, and rigorous. Risks can be assessed by establishing the board skill matrix to set the mixture of the skill, which increase the accountability and match the skill requirements. Audit should use the approach of listing the names of the independent director along with the service period. Audit can use the strategy by testing the entire year, not just at the time of the appointment of the directors. Audit evidence can be a list of interest, position, and the relationship of the directors with the entity has to be made and given to the security holders before the election. And the third principle is instill a culture of acting legally, ethically, and responsibly. The board and the management must act with the high standard of integrity and ensure the compliance with all the application of the laws and orders. Risk assessment should be done by placing adequate internal control to cheer the fair nature of the business and to minimize the fraud. The board has to set out the plan for the training of the employees to follow the laws and regulation of the organization. Audit strategy includes whistleblowing policies, and the audit evidence includes any violations of the company rules and regulations should be reported and act adequately, and adequate disciplinary action has to be taken by the organization. Thank you.
Usha Maharjan, and I'm here to present Principle 4 and Principle 5. Principle 4 is safeguard the integrity of corporate reports. This principle states that corporate reports should be foolproof enough and appropriate according to the nature and size of the business. There should be well-defined structure and proper presentation of financial position. By adopting this principle, the audit committee takes adequate measures for the integrity of corporate reports. In risk assessment process, The reports are carefully ascertained, which minimizes the risks and also helps in providing error-free report. In audit approach, the members should meet all the specified criteria, whereas internal and external auditors' individual performance is decided by audit committee. In terms of audit strategy, before publishing report, it is to ensure that the report is materially accurate and provides adequate information to the investors for making informed decision. In terms of audit evidence, the CEO and CFO has to give an undertaking that, in their opinion, the financial statement provides a true and fair report of their financial performance. Moving on next to the principle 5. Principle 5 is make timely and balanced disclosure. It states that as shareholders are diverse, it is necessary to meet their interest, and for that it is necessary to make full, timely and balanced disclosure. Adoption of principle leads entities to make full and timely disclosures about all the information required for the investor to make informed justifications. In risk assessment process, it reviews all the material market announcement immediately after they have been made to sense the quality of information being spread. In audit approach, director roles and responsibilities in entities process should be reviewed, whereas market information needs to be verified. In audit strategy is to cross-reference and verification of entities announcement with media and AXS platform to check whether the information circulated matches or not. In terms of evidence, a written policy document serves as a audit evidence to ensure that the disclosures made are as per the rules or not. Thank you. Next part will be done by another group member.
Hello, this is Pavita Adhikari. I'll be dealing with the 6th and 7th principle of corporate governance, and 6th one is respect the rights of security holders. The security holders should be provided the appropriate information and facilities to effectively exercise their rights. In adoption to this principle, stakeholders will have confidence in the company that their money is in the safe hands. The risk assessment process for this principle is that a company should be able to create a win-win situation for both investors and itself. Audit approach for this principle is the company has to ensure the participation of stakeholders in meeting. Audit strategy involved in this principle is an open door communication policies in between stakeholders and company itself. Audit evidence for this principle is that various resolutions should be properly recorded. And the 7th principle is recognize and manage risks. A sound risk management framework should be placed, and a periodic review of the same has to be carried out to ensure the effectiveness of the framework. In adoption to this principle, the company should design the appropriate risk management policies. The risk assessment process for this is transparency in the company's risk management framework. Audit approach is monitoring whether the entity is operating within the framework and reviewing of any material instances involving frauds. Audit strategy is knowing the emerging sources of risks and finding out the mitigation measures. Audit evidence for this principle is disclosures and the details of periodic reviews.
Hi, my name is Archana Neupane. I'm going to give a short presentation on Principle 8 and conclusion. My friends already covered the part till up to Principle 7, so I'm here to give a presentation on Principle 8. In Principle 8, there is remunerate fairly and responsibly. It includes a likely effect of full adoption of the principle. Likely influence of full adoption means the governments will have a low attrition rate to ensure the smooth running of the business. And there is the likely influence of full adoption on risk assessment process, audit approach, audit strategy, and audit evidence. In risk assessment process, there is a fixing of remuneration packages of the executives and directors. Secondly, in audit approach, there is a scheme of approach or remuneration, whether equity-based performance or fixed remuneration is applied. And thirdly, there is the audit strategy. In audit strategy, power is given to confer to the community people to interview the management and seek professional advice. And lastly, there is the audit evidence. In audit evidence, there is the adequate compliance with the remuneration policies. So, moving to the conclusion, to conclude, corporate governance and audit go hand in hand. The enhancement of the rules and regulation has ensured a closer insight into the internal audit mechanism, and with higher level of corporate governance, the auditors will be able to perform their job more effectively and more fruitful way. And lastly, we wrote some reference from where we got the related information regarding the topic. Thank you.